Hello everybody, how's it going today? So today is March the 19th, it's about 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and let's talk about Bitcoin. It's going to be a fairly quick update because there hasn't really been much action since that big downtrend from 8,600 that peaked around, what did it peak at actually? That downtrend, it peaked at about 8,240 there. So let's talk about Bitcoin, guys. Market cap for overall cryptocurrencies, we're at about 325 billion. Bitcoin 24-hour volume has been staggering very slowly and just slowly declining. Remember earlier we were at about 7.25 billion, so of course the volume has simply died off. It was a fairly hard sell-off. The sell-off was huge, but now volume has just simply dwindled because we're now going sideways for a little bit. What we saw was yesterday was at $6.6 billion. We're about 30 minutes away from closing the candle. So I think it's very acceptable to talk about the daily close right now since we're about 30 minutes away. Let me just have a sip of my coffee. Give me a second, guys. I'm still in the same coffee mug since morning. Haven't needed much coffee today because there hasn't really been much action at all. So it's been pretty slow right now. I'm doing okay today. I'm at about $1,200 up. But you know, I made that K in like 2 hours of trading, right? Since my live stream. And then I've just been struggling to make like the past $200. It's just been really hard. It was like just scalping massive positions for tiny gains. It was not fun. I hope you guys are okay with me talking about my position, right? Because I'm always very open with you guys, and don't think about it as boasting or anything. The thing about cryptocurrency is it's about money. It's entirely about money. So I'm always okay to talk about my position with you guys, since I personally see no problem with it at all. Because whenever I talk to my friends in real life, we talk about, you know, our position sizes and things like that, like all the time. So I hope I'm not offending anybody by talking about it. I don't mean to. Okay, so yeah, so we're now at pretty much the same volume as we were at yesterday. It's been very slow, guys. Let's talk about what's been going on. Let's talk about some key supports just to wrap it up. Okay, now we're gonna draw this trend line on a 6-hour chart. We're right around there. We're just gonna try to graze specific regions over here. Okay, so that's fairly acceptable. Maybe we can go to a 3-hour chart and just get a little bit more acceptable. So just something like that perhaps. Okay, so we see Bitcoin going up a tiny bit right now. Finally, it's actually gaining some traction. But let's talk about what's been going on. Finally, it's been gaining a little bit of traction. Wow, it just took so long. It actually, I closed my short position right around here. Right around this bottom here, 83.70, and literally, I closed it. Let me show you guys, okay? I had a feeling that something was gonna happen, so I just want to show you guys where I closed my position right here. Look at this, at 5:13, I closed it at 83.71, my short position, right? 83.71 at 5:13, and if I go to even a 1-minute chart, just to show you guys it right here, okay? 5:13 is right here, okay? Look at the price right there, the low, which was literally 83.71. So I had a feeling it was gonna spike up just a tiny bit there. I mean, it's not a lot. We're talking we're talking like $70 upwards, right? But $70 is the $210 difference, right? For the 3 Bitcoin position that I played. So I literally just caught the very bottom before it spiked up there. And that's one of the reasons why I made this video, because I feel that we're going to be sideways trending for a little bit. So, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let me just close this. I have got nothing to hide on my desktop anyways. Nope, I really don't. Okay, so, yeah, let's just keep going with this technical analysis of ours, since there's really not much going on right now. Let's do a very detailed count first of all. Not too detailed, but we'll get into what we can. I don't want to make the video too long. So with our Elliott Wave count, if I were to count this right now, I would count this as my 1. I would count this as 2, 3. This would be 4-ish, and that would be 5. Okay, I've got an alternate count as well now. I've come up with an alternate count simply because it's necessary. Put it that way. That's very necessary just to make sure that we understand that there's not always one scenario. So we're going to talk about different resistance and support points just to make sure that we can validate it and prepare if something happens. So what we see here from an overall retracement is we see this right here, possibly downtrend, right? So let's just say that we're gonna downtrend. This could very well be some sort of three-wave structure coming down, right? And we're actually in the B phase right now already. So let's just say that this right here was actually a resistance, right? Does this make sense? Where we're trending to a resistance point right over here. That could be possible, right? So what we're hitting right now is actually a resistance, as we can see it right over here. We're hitting a possible resistance here, and I cannot see it really breaking at all right now. In fact, it got rejected there a few times already when it actually got there. And right now the market is so slow that literally nothing is going on for the level 2 order book here. Sorry, I still have a little bit of a sore throat, so I apologize for coughing here. Yeah, it's been just super sideways, guys, and we're going to talk about possible count, okay? So this could very well just be an ABC count like that, right? That could be the ABC coming down. On the bigger picture, this right here could be the whole B structure, okay? And this is kind of the bearish count, where of course we end up getting some sort of one-to-one extension coming downwards like that. Okay, let's just take a look at it. So if we actually ended up downtrending from there, you know, the target is still roughly between 8,000 to 8,200 right now. Let's see if we can actually get there, because sometimes the B actually makes a three-wave structure, right? Or sorry, the A makes a three-wave structure. If that's not the case, then a very likely case as well is this. Let me show you it over here. So another very viable count as well is that this actually made 1, that made 2, that made 3, this whole structure here is 4, and then we end up downtrending like that, right, to make our 5th wave coming down. And then this ends up getting broken eventually to possibly an ABC to a reasonable fib level, maybe to a 382, then cat bounce, I'm guessing, just around these particular regions here. But I really can't see this structure getting that high, right? Maybe at most to 84, 8,500 to the golden zone, but anywhere between 8350 to about 8,500 is the max in my opinion. So once again, just a quick recap. If this was actually waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down, then we would still get an ABC going up there like that. And then on the way down, right, we could be reaching some sort of support around these regions here. Whoops, I didn't mean to draw ABC like that. We could be finding A, B, C, just something like that, right? Something along these lines where I think that support could possibly happen. Oh, do you guys see that? It's so blurry, right? This one's super blurry. I'm not sure why. Do you guys see that structure? That's really weird how blurry that was. Okay, let me try drawing that again. That was really weird. I've never seen it like that before. There we go. Now it's not blurry. It's actually fine. Okay, so if that were to actually complete, we could easily get a structure like that. That makes our ABC to complete, right? And you know, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I'm hoping for a bounce between 8,000 to 8,200 roughly. I don't think 8,200 will hold, to be quite honest. I think on the lower end, it'll most likely end up reaching to roughly, let's see where I think it'll reach. I think it'll roughly get to probably around at least 8,150. And on the lower end that could get to is honestly 7,800. So make sure you guys keep that number in mind. It doesn't always mean that we're going to get there, but we have to make sure that we realize that 382 Fibonacci level is a very reasonable level. Now I want to talk to you guys about my alternate count as well, okay? Alternate counts are always very important to consider. Now let's go over it together. Let's say that that scenario did not play out, then perhaps I actually counted it wrong. Perhaps this right here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This whole structure was some sort of A, B, C, D, and E, okay? A, you know, let's say this was a 3-wave structure, 3, 4, and 5. So now I've got this possible count here as well, which could look something like that, right? That could have been making some sort of wedge pattern like that. And if this were the actual case, then we have actually a very bullish, a super bullish pattern that's actually forming right now, okay? So if this were it right now, then that would mean that this right here is the first subwave of everything happening, right? And this was actually the A, B, and the C structure already. So then we would end up getting something like this in terms of pattern-wise. Not necessarily these targets, but I'm just giving you guys an example, right? Like this whole structure could be wave 2, and then we end up getting 3, 4, and then 5, right? So then what this ends up making instead is this right here is waves 1. This whole structure is waves 2. And then this is all only subwave 1 of the grand picture, right? And then we end up going upwards like that. So how are we going to confirm the count, guys? Well, right now, no harm, no foul, right? I don't recommend for people to really enter without confirmation. How do we confirm it? Easy, a break. A break well above over here. We would make note of it around the candlestick resistance, right? But clearly a break well above this previous high right here. Let me just change this pattern up for you guys to see it better. So a break above that yellow line right there would signal that our count, or my count rather, is entirely wrong. Okay, that makes sense? I hope that makes sense. That's around 87.17. So if we break above 87.17, I'm entirely wrong. I'm no longer in any type of position whatsoever. I'm just waiting. I've already closed all my shorts, etc. as well. So I'm literally just waiting to see what's going to happen. I think a lot of people are actually waiting right now as well. So if this were the actual count, all right, then we're going to break above 8,700 and we're going to get some clear breaks well above it, right? So we have to make sure that we understand there are multiple counts as well. So once again, keep in mind, a break above 87.18 is going to signal a very big bull rally. So let's talk about some other indicators right now that's going on. So we actually see a tiny little rally right now going on, right? We definitely see a rally. We're at $8,500 already. Finally, it's about time, right? That we're going to get some sort of momentum. Let's just take a look at this specific structure right here, okay? This specific structure, what are we at? We're looking at a fib retracement already of this whole structure at about, you know, we're going well past the 618 level over here already. So this could very well be, if we end up breaking well above it, keep that in mind, guys. 87.18, that's kind of the price right now. We see a lot of the bulls rallying. That's actually a really large candle. And lots of volume as well. The 1 minute chart is probably getting fairly oversold, I'm guessing, right? So now we gotta wonder what is going on, right? What's the right count right now? We don't really know. So is this perhaps a 3-wave structure and this whole thing is doing an ABC right now? Yeah, that could very well be the case as well, okay? So we have to make sure that these scenarios are kept on the table, but we see it clear rejection, right? We see clear rejection right around that particular price range. In fact, it's very fast, the rejection that's happening right now. So I'm just kind of looking at the price action and seeing how quickly it is downtrending and being entirely rejected. Woo! Take a look at it on the 1 minute chart just to give you guys an idea of how much it was rejected, how fast. 85.15 all the way down to 84.74 in a matter of seconds that it was rejected. So now it's just a matter of waiting to see what's going to happen further. So if we break above 87.18, all right, we're now in a more bullish trend. So let's just say that this was wave 3, 4, and that was 5, right? Well, another thing to take a look at is, you know, let's say we got into a very low time frame, right? This is clearly creating some sort of level of support right now, right here, right? Some sort of level of support right here. So we've got to wonder, is this making some sort of channel? Okay, what if this actually made a channel because our wave count is actually wrong, right? Is that making some sort of channel like that right there where we're going to trend all the way up to 8,800? Really important questions to always be asking as a trader. So aside from Elliott Wave, like what if this was all wave 1, 2, and there's like a 3 somewhere way up there? But you know, if this was the actual wave and there was a third wave impulse going upwards, then you know, it would have to hit something ridiculous like 9,300 for it to be considered an impulse wave up. So the only thing that I could really assume is maybe there's one more small subwave going up for that particular one. But what we see is the volume just dying, guys. There's really not a lot of volume whatsoever in any way. In my opinion, this is more like some sort of ABC like that going on, right? That's A, that's B somewhere like that, and there's a C still coming down. So let's say that this got to 85, 8600. That's a major resistance zone, guys. See this cluster right here? This cluster right here, we just simply cannot break above it with conviction. We broke a little bit above it, but we just can't stay. So I can't help but assume that actually it goes really far back, guys. Like it goes really far back, this whole cluster right here. So I cannot help but assume that this is a major resistance that we seem to not be able to break. Let's look at some of the candles, okay? On the daily chart right now, what we see is a very bullish candle, right, with good volume as well. That's looking very good bullishly overall. I think in a few days we'll most likely want to cross, and once we get a MACD crossover, it's going to be huge. It's going to signal for the bulls to actually enter the market, and I think a lot of people will probably end up buying. So let's just keep going here to see what we see. We're finally getting a crossover on the 12-hour chart that happened a little while ago. Not bad. We're now bouncing from here. That was a very good RSI support. Now if we take a look at the 6-hour chart, right, this is definitely going upwards, but is it going to curve around and we're going to get a small little tick and then go back upwards like that? So you know, on the 12-hour chart, or 6-hour chart I mean, we actually ended up getting a very bearish candle. Take a look at this bearish candle right there, okay? This is called a shooting star. A shooting star implies that the bulls push the market upwards, but a lot of players or traders will simultaneously push the market down. And because they're pushing the market down like that, it's very difficult for us to assume that we are in a bull trend right now, right? Sorry, I'm just typing one thing to somebody here super quickly. My apologies. Yeah, so a shooting star, right? Like I was saying. Sorry, I completely forgot what I was saying. The bulls try to push it up, but the bears take profit, or people enter short positions putting it down. So this candle should have been very indicative, in my opinion, that the bulls were losing steam. And that's pretty much what ended up happening, right? The bulls lost steam. In the very short term, they lost steam, but now it makes me wonder, why the heck is this candle still very bullish right now? So there's a lot of questions to be asking right now in terms of why the heck is this still going upwards, okay? So I'm super confused about why it's going up, but what I do see is a rejection. Over the past 8 hours, I see a rejection at the 55 EMA, which leaves you to wonder, are the bulls actually winning this battle right now? Okay, are they winning the battle? This is kind of like a tweezer top right here, but we're seeing massive leveling off on the 4-hour chart. The histogram just simply cannot get any higher right now. So I'm really unsure of my bias right now, okay? We see that it broke above the 55 EMA on a 3-hour chart, fell back down, and now it's actually rejecting it with very little volume though, right? There's 1 hour left in there. We're hovering right here above or right by the 100 moving average actually on the 2-hour chart, but we are getting squeezed in between. So this type of technical analysis is a little bit different than my other ones that I normally do. I'm just typing one thing to somebody. Give me a second here. Anyways, so yeah. Sometimes I get a little bit sidetracked. My apologies. I don't mean to do this on your guys' time, okay? Okay, so on the 1-hour chart, we see a possible crossover on the MACD, right? This looks like it was crossing over. It could have signaled a lot of people to actually take profit, but not a lot of people ended up taking profit when it crossed over. Like they did, right? They did from the peak of the histogram, but then now it's just kind of sidewaysing. So we might just get some sideways action with very little price movement. So we take a look at the volume, and the volume just simply starts dwindling off as well, right? We pretty much got a MACD crossover, right? Now the 100 moving average is actually supporting all of them right now on the 45-minute chart. On the 1 hour, is the 100 moving average supporting it? No, not yet. 30 minutes, it's definitely working out very, very well from the way it looks. But, you know, most likely when something snaps too far away from the moving average, it tends to want to, what's the word? It wants to snap back to the original line, right? So this one looks like it was about to do a fake out in terms of just going upwards. But, you know, it looks like it wants to curve upwards, but it's really hard for me to believe right now that we're in any type of bullish momentum, because we simply just don't have a lot of confirmation with volume, and we're not really breaking above key resistances either. Like if I look on a very low time frame, okay, I know I normally shouldn't be doing this with you guys, but just looking at it on a very low time frame, what I simply see right here, guys, is that there's a shooting star on it. So we're just getting rejected right now to the upside already. Like we tried to push it up, but we simply keep getting rejected by like $40–50 every time. So there's not, it's very neutral territory right now. So my bias is entirely neutral, unfortunately, until something happens otherwise. Now let me talk about what I expect to happen, right? Let's go on a lower time frame here, just super low time frame, so I can get this out of the way for you guys. Actually, let's go a 30-minute chart. 30-minute would be much more sufficient here. So if we break like these key regions, right over here, like around 85, 50, okay, 85.50 to 8600. I would consider if we broke above 85.50 to 8600, you know, maybe we can actually break above here, and then my bullish count will be on that I mentioned earlier. But it also seems very unlikely as well, where these types of patterns right here are it's more like an inverted flag, right guys? We would end up seeing this right here as like an inverted flag. It's hard to see it any other way right now, right? Where this whole structure could be a 3-wave structure, and this one here made like a 9-wave flat inside of it. So it's very complicated, this structure, almost impossible to not talk about, but it's impossible to dissect, put it that way, right? So this could be a 3-wave coming down, that could be the this could be the 3-wave coming down, that could be the B, and then we could end up easily downtrending after that. So the best way to look at it right now for confirmation is if we break above, first of all, this channel, right? Keep an eye on that. If we break above 85.50, great. If we break above 8600, my bullish count is on. But if we break to the downside, guys, then my bearish count is still on, right? It's still on. Whether that's ABC coming down or something, I still expect a correction to around the 8,000 level, or maybe 7,800 on the very low side, but at least 8,200 is what I meant to say, okay? So I apologize for not being able to give you guys that much of an update. It's been very sideways right now, and when markets are sideways like this for the past 5-6 hours now, there's very little we can say. But I just wanted to make sure that I updated you guys with both the bearish and the bullish count as well. So I'll keep you guys updated more when there's more information. So just keep in mind that, once again, the 85.50, 8600 range is a major resistance right now, especially 8500. But I don't really see us breaking out of it anytime soon, despite us having both bearish and bullish signs right now. So other than that, I'll keep you guys updated. I'd really appreciate an upvote on Steemit. Make sure you guys take care and stay safe, and remember those targets that I was mentioning. I'll see you guys later. Bye now.